Cake. It's what's for dinner on this next episode of Digest This.
Welcome to Digest This, the show that helps you revolutionize your digestive health. Here are your hosts, Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato.
Hello and welcome to Digest This. I'm Dr. Liz Cruz and I've got Tina Nunziato sitting right here by my side. And welcome to dinner with us. We will be serving cake for dinner here.
Cake for dinner.
If you're a first-time listener, welcome. We're so happy that you joined us. And we've got hundreds of podcasts sitting out there in our library. Please check them out. And if you're a regular listener, we are so excited that you are with us on this journey. Thank you for being a loyal listener.
You get 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Yes.
That's right. And if you're watching this on YouTube, a loyal watcher. So,
That's right.
so cake
Suns.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Go Suns. One more
Playoffs.
game.
That's right.
Suns in 6.
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
We just went to a Suns game last night. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. And they won, which made it even better.
Exactly. Go Suns.
So what about this cake for dinner? So this actually comes from a recent date night that we had. We went out to a restaurant, and
By the way, date nights are very important.
That's right.
So if you do not go on date nights with your spouse, go on date nights with your spouse.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
I agree. So we were on a date night, and I was eating, and Tina was actually observing a little girl.
Though there was a table that was like right
Catty
opposite,
corner
catty
to
corner
us.
from where
Yeah.
I was sitting and able to see. And it was just a mom and a dad and their 2 little girls that came and sat down
Right.
at the table.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I think what really caught Tina's attention, she's like, oh my goodness, that little girl just ate a big slice of cake for dinner.
Like I thought they had just come in for dessert because they literally sat down and they ordered 2 big pieces of chocolate cake. And we were at this restaurant that has these huge pieces of chocolate cake. And I thought, oh, they're just coming in for dessert, right? So they ate the cake, mostly the little girls. They were feeding the cake to the little girls for the most part. And then they ordered dinner. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. So then the dinner comes and they're trying to feed the little girls dinner, actual food. And they didn't want it. And the parents were like angry at the little kids for not wanting dinner. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this isn't rocket science, is it? Like, I really felt like I felt moved to go over there and say to them, like, if you're going to feed your kid cake, especially that big of a piece of cake, don't expect them to eat dinner.
So the next thing I know, Tina is gone from the table.
That's crazy.
She's gotten up and she walked right over to that table and she looked at the parents and she said, "What are you thinking?"
You're lying. I did not do that.
I'm just kidding.
I
She
would
didn't
never
do
do
that.
that.
She didn't do that. She did not do that.
I was just amazed that they were so upset with the children.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself,
Actually,
this is
that's
like a
actually when you
2-year-old.
pulled me into that.
Yeah.
Into that. At that point, I had just been enjoying my food and focused on my food, and then Tina's
was
like,
watching the whole
Tina
thing.
was watching that, and then that's when I got pulled into it. And it's true. I actually looked up just in time to see the mom getting mad at the little girl because she wouldn't eat her dinner.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, and then these 2 little girls were kind of bigger little girls, they were a little on the chunky side, but they're little, so that happens sometimes.
Could be
with
baby
little
fat.
kids. Yeah, but I'm thinking to myself, like, if that's how you feed your child, like, that's like, they're not going to want real food if that's what because it was funny because when the cake showed up, the little girl was like, she was like so happy. She was like clapping her hands and she had this big smile on her face. Like she'd never seen a piece of cake in her life. And I thought, oh, they're celebrating something, like, no, that was just like dessert before dinner is what that was. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I didn't think this was rocket science, but I thought we should talk about it because obviously if this is happening with some families, it's probably happening with others. And apparently people don't know, right? That you are, like, your body is going to be what you give it, right? And if you are constantly feeding yourself or your children sweets or things like that, especially before a meal, they're going to get full on that, and they're not going to want to eat the things they should be eating, right? Whatever it is that you're making for dinner.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure we talked about it and just like make sure people understood that, it's really important to feed yourself quality food, right? And I say this a lot in consults, that it's not about the quantity of food, it's about the quality of the food. Because I do a lot of consults with patients who have talked to a nutritionist before, like a registered dietitian and things like that. And a lot of them, it's more about the quantity of the calories. You can only eat so many calories per day, but you can still eat a bagel for breakfast, right? And for me, if you're talking to me, I'm going to tell you, no, you shouldn't eat the bagel for breakfast, right? Because it's not about, again, the quantity of calories. It's about the quality of the calories that you're eating. So you just really have to be careful, especially with our kids, because we all get addicted to stuff, but kids especially.
Sure.
Like if you're starting them that young on sugar and things like that, it's going to be really hard to break them.
Well, and granted, we don't know what that situation was. We don't know if, we don't know anything about it. It was just what we saw. But I think probably what impacted Tina the most, because that's then when she pulled me into that situation, was the fact that now the parents are trying to get the little ones to eat their their dinner, and they don't want to, and they're getting mad at them. And so, I like Tina, she was like, oh my goodness, poor little ones. Cause they don't know, they don't understand. And of course, if you give a little one any form of sugar, they're always going to want that.
They're always going to choose the sugar over the burrito.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
Or whatever the food is.
Of course.
Right?
So, but it's the modeling again is so important, because our kids are watching everything that we do, and it doesn't mean not to have a piece of chocolate cake. Of course, we're gonna go out and have a special treat every once in a while, okay? But it's just that the modeling, our kids are watching everything that we do. They watch how we behave. They watch how we treat each other. Okay, they watch how we talk to each other. They watch
what we eat and drink.
They watch what we eat and drink. And
like at the game last night, we were joking about getting a beer, and Kai, our son, is just like laughing because he knows we're not going to go get a beer, because we don't need it, right? But it's that, like, he's observing, right? Like what's important to us and what we do in those situations.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And so I think that, that's like the real important thing. Like sometimes, even sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I got to tell my kids, do this and do that. And, there's always going to be opportunities for teaching, right? Teaching points. But what I've come to realize, and what I'm realizing more and more, is that our kids are learning by just watching us. Okay, our kids are learning by watching us, by watching what we eat, watching what we drink, and that's just, it's the importance of that whole modeling thing is so, I think, just so important to understand that, because I think that we don't give that enough credit. I think we're like thinking that we purposely have to set aside a time to tell our kids, hey, this is how you should eat. This is how you should do that. This is how you should do that. And the reality is, yeah, there are some things we have to tell him, but a lot of stuff, they're going to watch you.
Yeah.
They're going to watch you and what you do. And it's natural for a child to model their parent. Okay. Especially if they look up to them. So, anyways,
which most children look up to their parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, we thought this would be a fun little topic just to bring up and talk about, but.
Yeah, and if you're trying, look at the other thing that actually came up a couple times in consults this week, since we're talking about cakes and stuff like that. Because we have a lot of patients that are addicted to sugar and they feel like they have to have that cake at the end of the night. I always tell them, like, try to do more like fresh fruits instead of the sugary cakes and stuff like that. Try to transition to apples or grapes or something like that, because at least you're getting natural sugars instead of the processed sugars. So just a tip there.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, look, I'm a sweet tooth. I love my sweets, and so that was probably one of the hardest things for me when we started on our journey, on our wellness journey. I mean, I've mentioned this on previous podcasts that I used to sit down right before bed and eat, I don't know, 10, 12 Oreo cookies with a glass of milk. And I did it pretty consistently. I mean, Tina was really great in feeding into my habit and would buy a ton of Oreo cookies. And, and it's funny because as we started transitioning and doing more organic, then she started buying me the organic brand, the Pawn Newman Oreo cookies. Then I was like, okay, well, I can do
all
these.
About transition,
right? We were doing the transition, and but honestly, I would wake up sometimes just feeling like a little hangover, like just like
sugar
fog.
hangover.
Yeah, like a sugar hangover. So through the years, I've changed. I've also, modified a lot, and I no longer do cookies and milk at night, except if it's a weekend. Sometimes I may treat myself to something sweet, but in general, Tina doesn't buy cookies, so there are no cookies around.
That's true. It's another tip. If you don't want to eat it, don't buy it.
Don't buy it. Exactly. But dates. That's actually my favorite natural sweet treat is our dates, and they're so good, and they just really hit the spot. And surprisingly, they fulfill that need that I have for sugar. So it's true though. If it's there, if Tina were to buy a thing of cookies,
it'd be gone.
Yeah,
in a day.
Yeah. So
easily
it's best
around here. Like
it's
Girl
best
Scout
not
season,
to buy it.
Not a good time around our house, Girl Scout season, because we have 2 Girl Scouts and they're both selling cookies and they're just stacked. And it is just too easy to go get the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, those girls, our twins, had boxes stashed in their nightstands.
That they were eating.
They were eating, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
Anyways, you know what? We're so happy that you joined us. Thank you so much for being a part of our journey. And, if you want to connect with us, if you're having any digestive issues, or if you're not having digestive issues, but you want to prevent illness and be healthy and stay healthy and have a vibrant life, connect with us. Go to our website, Dr. Liz Cruz, www.drlizcruz.com, and you will see a purple button in the middle of the page that you can click and sign up for a free 30-minute wellness consult. All right? Free 30-minute wellness consult. Again, I emphasize free. Okay? And you can connect with us that way. Also, please leave us a review on this podcast. It'll actually help other people to find us. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe. That way you will not miss any episodes. All right?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you on the next podcast.
Thank you for joining Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato. To learn more about their revolutionary products and services, go online to www.drlizcruz.com.